Welcome to the first episode of Season 2 CricChat powered by Umar Sheikh. Today we have a very special personality, Randeep Sehra, who has played for Kings, and he's had a very good season last year. 425 runs, averaging over 50, and 10 dismissals over 10 games in 40 overs. And of course, he's had a fantastic T20 season as well. 305 runs, averaging over 50 yet again, with 18 dismissals and 10 innings. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Off season's been fairly busy. You gain a little bit of weight, you lose a little bit of weight.
You lose some, you gain some.
Yeah, absolutely, right? It's been good. It's been good. It's a good reflection of the last year, right? You never really get to sit down and see how you're doing throughout the season. So after the season, you have a lot of realization moments. Oh, this happened or this happened, right? Still unfortunate to not lift any of the trophies, right? But that's part of the game, right? Sometimes you have great seasons and you don't win anything. Some years you have bad seasons and you win a lot, right? So it's kind of a balance. I don't think we have any trophies in any of the tournaments that we've played, or I've played, I guess. Done fairly well individually this year, yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, you don't get that satisfying feeling unless you win, right? So hopefully it'll be a little bit different this year. Hopefully we'll still score some good runs and win some trophies.
How are the boys feeling?
Boys, they're feeling the same way. I think it was a disappointing season for just the boys in general, just because we didn't win, right? Because at the end of the day, winning is everything. You play for winning. You don't win, you don't play for personal milestones, right? So I feel like everybody did well. Everybody tried their best, but as long as you don't win, that satisfaction is not there, right? And that's kind of the greed, or that's kind of what you go into next season, right? The hunger, there you go. So now we're in that boat. Like, nobody's satisfied, including myself, right? I feel like I could have scored a little bit more runs here. That we know we would have been over the line, scored a little bit of runs there. That, obviously I would have to take the blame as a captain, right? If you have 10 people looking at you, you have to do it, right? And
100%.
yeah, sometimes you don't do enough, but you have to do more.
Exactly. Right? And I remember chatting with you in mid-season. Kings were at one point, you guys were like top 2 team, something along those lines. And all of a sudden, things just went downhill.
At the start of the season, we were doing really well, right? Also, I got very, very lucky with a few drop catches. And then, sometimes that's all you need in a season. You have a couple drop catches and then you go on, right? And I think we had that throughout with our top order. The other teams were dropping catches and we kind of kept going. But I think everybody takes a few games to kind of get in the groove, right? A lot of settlements happen, right? I think we were prepared to play elite, but I feel like other teams kind of developed around the starting of the season, right? So by the time everybody developed their squads, it got a little competitive, and I think we got a little too comfortable in our spots, thinking that we've got it in the bank, right? But it's unfortunate, and that's kind of the beauty of the game as well, right? Because you can't always win, and it's a great leveler. Cricket it's always been a great leveler. So I don't know what happened. It's just we didn't do anything different. We were trying to do the same thing we were doing throughout, right? I think early success in the season was the reason we got a little too comfortable. And it's kind of like the trend. The team that usually wins, they don't start off on a great track and they have something to work towards, right? So what happened to us was less practices, and I think we lost in the field, right? Fielding was our big department.
But generally, Kings are okay. They're doing well with fielding.
Yeah, usually, but like I said, like Rizwan, we dropped one game and he scored 90, quick 90, right? And he dropped him in the first or the second over. So things like that, we lost that game. Like, now I think back to it, if we had won that game, we would have played, we were left out with 3 points towards the semis, right? So those 3 points would have taken us over the line, and then it's a one-day game, right? So if you have a good day, you could potentially win, right? So I still look back to that, and I think that one catch, right, that cost us a tournament. But it's hard to pinpoint on one specific incident, but incidents like that, we dropped Ahmed Mirza one game, and same thing, right? He's so comfortable. Like, they're elite level, man. Players are comfortable. Players know what they have, right? So just just the fielding aspect, I think, is where we lagged a lot. Bowling, every batsman, they give you a chance, right? You have to grab chances, and I think we failed to do that throughout the tournament. I don't know how the other teams did for dropped catches because we don't obviously have the stats for that, right? But if you were to put our team, I think fielding would be kind of where we lost a lot of the games. Bowling, yes, I got a player kind of miss out the second half of the season. So yes, absolutely, we did struggle with our bowling as well. But like I said, even when the chances were there, we were not grabbing the chances. So I think that has a lot to do with our failure last year. And even when we come to practices, I think a lot of the practices are revolved around good bowling, good batting. Nobody cares about fielding. Like from October until March, we can't field. Like there's only so much fielding practice you could do, right? And then everybody gets so busy closer to the season. You don't have that much time to practice in the field, right? For fielding, and that's just not us, right? And you see that a lot of lollies drop basically, and that's every team. I think we all struggle, but I think we struggled just a little bit more at a crucial time where if we had captured those moments, we would have been better. I feel like the scheduling wasn't great, right? And not to point fingers, obviously I don't do that job, so it's easy for me to sit here and be like, oh, that wasn't done great, right? But
that's something that we talked about this on this show, and that was a hot topic for the season 2025. Umpiring as well as scheduling.
Right.
It was just too tight.
Yeah, umpiring, I never really thought of an issue, right? Just because I think for us it was kind of labeled out gradually, which was kind of nice. But games, man, I feel like we were playing a game after a game after a game, and it's a domino effect. Once the one domino falls and you're losing, it just carries on, right? It doesn't give you a time to kind of regather yourself, right?
I believe Knight Riders, I think they had 2 double headers, and did you?
We had a double headers as well,
double-headers?
right? I think we did as well.
No, not one. Knight Riders had 2 double headers.
Okay, Knight Riders,
4.
So okay, yeah, because we finished all our games start of August, or we didn't have a game from the first week of August until September 23rd.
Yeah.
So that's a month and a half in between, right? So I feel like if we had a little bit of time there to kind of scattered a couple weeks off here and there to kind of regather and see what's going on, it's kind of those panic. We're not professionals, right? We try our best. We play cricket for fun. We try our best. So when panic hits in, it hits in everybody, right? And you're trying to do one thing at a time. We don't have coaches. We don't have the equipment managers and the managers that kind of help you out, right? You're doing this wrong, and it's just the captain's analyzing what's going on, right? And then sometimes you're not in a good headspace either, right? And there's more things in life than just cricket. Sometimes it's easier to sit here and be like, oh, this went wrong. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's a failure on us, right? Maybe it is a failure. A failure is a failure, right? I'm not going to find an excuse to justify our failure, right? But I feel like it had a little bit to do with the scheduling as well. But at the end of the day, you play cricket with 11 people, 11 players. They all have to be on the same wavelength to win, right? And you all would have to want to win, right? And I also feel like Knight Rider does it really well. They pick up on trends. They like the semifinal we lost against them. We were bowled out in the 16th over. I opened the batting and I only faced 31 balls, right? And I was not out. I carried the bat through, but we lost the game. So they did a really good job of targeting everybody around, right? And it also comes with so much knowledge, right? We've been playing with these teams for a long time, so they know who to target, what to target, right? Where the panic will set in, right? And I feel like other teams were a little bit smarter on that end. They're a better team. They were a better team. They're a tight knit squad as well, right? Like you see those guys. They're young guys. They're very very tight knit. And I always say, if I was to ever go play for another team, I think Knight Riders would be kind of the team where, like, we've also known them for a really long time, right? They're kind of on the same wavelength as us. We've known them for, I think, 13, 14 years now, and we see the same guys. You see Arsalan, Ali, Shatri, right? All same guys, right?
What's the inside scoop? Has there been any changes? Has any WCL boys, are they switching things up, or what's happening?
We're keeping things the same. I think Kings 1 is back to Kings 1, which is the WCL. So that would be Kings 1, we'll be Kings 2. And then I think we're gonna keep away the things that they were a couple years back, right? We're playing Premier Division this year, so Elite T20. So we'll see how the season goes there, right?
Yeah, I remember speaking to you last year about
Mhm.
this, and you said Kings 1 is Kings 1, and
Yeah.
when they come back, that's their throne. and
Absolutely.
We were happy with their own bubble, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So
not gonna change, hey?
no, none of that would change. I think we're trying to keep things like every team has a face, right? So when you look at Kings 1, you look at Robin, you look at Tsuka, you look at Arsh, right? And you look at Kings 2, there's Prab, there's myself. You look at Kings 3, we're trying to develop a face for Kings 3 as well, right? So we're kind of keeping things that way, right? But depending on how the season goes, and like we're one club, right? We don't like teams, we don't really get into our own squads until a week or two before the season, right? Like our practices, our club practices, we're doing everything as a unit together right now, trying to figure out who would fit where. And like I said, with the title on the line, I think it's going to be a lot more competitive this year than it was last year, just because everybody's kind of mashing up now, right? So
Also, boys coming back from WCL,
yeah, absolutely,
that will also increase the competition.
absolutely.
I
So,
think that was the missing piece from last year as well. I think cricket will be more enjoyable this year.
absolutely.
I think, end of the day, having more playgrounds and having more competitive cricket is what we need.
Absolutely, absolutely. So like I said, I don't make that decisions. My what I could control is my practices and how much effort I put into the game, right? Doesn't matter what team I play for, as long as, like I said, we've been part of the club for a really long time and we're kind of sticking together. We're letting the management, the club management, do all the roles and the squads, right? We'll see where we end up, right? But we'll end up, as far as the way things are seeing, is we have two elite T20 teams, and right, so
Huge plus.
you have to keep them balanced, right?
Let's talk about Smash and Grab.
Right.
Victorian Kings, they had a team there. Obviously, the results not what you would like. The team was basically butchered in the whole tournament. But what are some of the positives that you've taken out?
We won a game. We won a game in a tournament where they had international players playing, right? And it's not like it's same thing. Dropped catches, right? Things could have been a lot different if we didn't drop catches, right? We dropped so kind of first over against Kings. They wanted to go score 250 in that game, right? So things could have been a lot different, right? Dropped catches is where I would definitely put a blame on the drop catches. Are you playing a tournament that big? You can't drop catches. League, I understand, because we're all just different individuals trying to work together to build a team, right? But when you come to tournaments, you're investing money, you're there for the sole purpose of that weekend, right? So I feel like that is a management issue on my part. I think I failed to gather a team, a proper team. It was such a last moment thing. Oh, what are we going to do, right? Are we, do we have a team? Do we not have a team, right? If we have a team, who's playing where? And it was decided a day or two before, right? You can't win tournaments, man. That homework starts now, basically, right? Before the season starts, if you want to win big tournaments, right? So Victorian Kings, it's something that we kind of started a few years ago, and it's been a thing revolving around every season, right? So it's not something that we're sure that we do every year, but it ends up happening every year, right? So I don't know what this year is going to be like. Obviously, it has to be with the permission of Kings. If Kings allow, like I said, my main priority is Kings. If Kings require a wicketkeeper batsman to play for Kings, I would go play for Kings, right? And if they have somebody in that situation, I would like to be a part of the tournament. And if that means that I'm going to sit out and watch the games, I'd rather have my own team at that point, right? So that's where we kind of started the Victorian Kings, right? They've always had a wicketkeeper batsman, right? So, and I don't want to be that person to be like, hey, I'm in your team, do I get a game, right? And I like to play, obviously, right? So if that means that I could gather my own team who's not playing anywhere, right? We started off as more of a participation thing, right? We're like, oh, you get to participate in a big tournament, right? We were surprised with how big the tournament was this year, right? We didn't, yeah,
very good.
I had no clue that we'd have international players. I think the entire Canadian team was here, entire U.S. team was here, right? So and then minor league players, major league players, and it's kind of a big deal, right? My homework was not done. Like I was nowhere near thinking that it'd be that big of a tournament, right? Usually we go as big as TJ, right? That's kind of the star that usually comes, right? And Shadley, I think I hit him for a 6, I hit him for a 4. That's a personal victory, right? And small victories like that, I think that was a big deal for me, right? And then we saw him at the World Cup this year, and he was the highest wicket taker before the finals, I think, in the World Cup this year.
Really good average too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a fantastic tournament.
Absolutely. So to say that, we played against players like that for somebody that's, I'm an electrician, man. I'm an electrician by trade. We're not cricketers, right? We don't practice every day. We don't wake up, breathe, sleep cricket. We don't do that, right? So for somebody like us who's got a full-time job, full-time career, full-time something else, to play cricket against players like that, it's a big deal. It's a big win, right? And even if it means that I'm sacrificing a cup moment for somebody to participate, to 11 players to be in that level, I'm okay with that. To us, it's a win, right? So if 11 like-minded people at least enter a tournament like that, you'll only get better. You won't get any worse, right? So, but this year, I think I'm hoping to have a little bit of a different outcome, maybe get a couple more players, right? Hopefully Kings could have 2 teams this year. We don't know. We've had tournaments where we had Kings had 2 teams, right? So maybe if we would have something like that.
Last year, when I had a chat with you, you said players are so much calmer, it's hard to get under their skin. And then you mentioned something about Hussain, who scored 200 against Kings,
Right.
after you guys tried to get under his skin and it didn't work. So it's all about focusing on your bowlers and batters, what you do best. If that is your theory, then I've had some people who told me this, that Randy is just sometime can be disrespectful, and he pushes that fine line of disrespect and being aggressive. How do you justify yourself?
I don't think any limits were crossed last season, or 2025 season. You get what you give, man. It's just the reality of it, right? You give respect, you take respect. And I try to keep it on the field, right? If you're on the field, you're gonna get banter, you're gonna give it back, right? I don't take it off the field, and if anybody has an issue off the field, I'd love to solve it, right?
Yeah.
I don't carry that.
Would you say that you build on the previous game and then it just continues, or?
Like I said, if it's on the field, 100%, yes, it would keep going, right? Anything that somebody says to me, I have it in my back pocket, right? It's just a matter of when it comes out, right? And I will give it to you on the field. I won't, but like if you say something to me on the field, I won't see you outside and be like, hey, sorry, you said this. That's dumb, man. It's such a small community we have, right? I don't carry any grudge off the field, right? On the field, yes, I carry all the grudges on the field, and if it comes as disrespectful, I apologize, right? I have no intentions of being disrespectful. I just feel like if you could take it, you gotta dish it back, right? If it is, like I said again, like if it is coming across as disrespectful, I apologize, right? I have no intentions of being disrespectful. I think it's all part of the field, right? If you want to say anything off the field, I'm 100% open to even have a conversation. Anybody who feels that way, right? I'm open to have a conversation, and like I said, I apologize if I've ever crossed the line. But on the field, I want to win, right? I'm there to win, no matter. We're playing competitive, fairly competitive cricket, right? So if it means getting under somebody's skin to win the game, I will do it for sure, right? But I will apologize to them after the game if I have crossed any limits, right? Altercations, they happen every season, right? It seems to kind of follow us. And like I said, for holding grudges, yes, if you say something to me, I will definitely keep it in the back of my mind, and I will give it back to you in the cricket field, not off the field. I wouldn't take that home with me, basically.
I think we had a pretty colorful season. We've had fights, we've had scheduling issues, we've had umpiring issues, and we've had we had a lot of good things happen as well. Great things happen, especially when we talk about Smash and Grab.
Right.
It was bigger than ever.
Right.
I know it was CCA, Iceberg, I think it was CCA. I would not call it anything else, but CCA won the tournament as well. How are we prepared for 2026?
I just think we have to be a little bit better with our with their scheduling, I feel like, right? I think we're well set for a bigger season this year, just because you have what is it, WCL, them and us kind of combining, is what the rumors are. I'm not sure how true they are, but if that is the thing, I think we are well prepared. I think grounds could be a little bit more maintained, right? When it comes to tournaments, like I said, it was a surprise for me personally. I didn't expect that tournament to be that big, right? And I was personally not ready for it. And when it comes to the league, I'm not sure how league is. Well, league did a phenomenal job, right? So to hold a, you're right, absolutely, 100%. And like if we had a stadium in Calgary for that final Kings and CCA game, I would say it would be packed, right? I've never seen that many people at Inland in my life before, right? For a cricket game, Premier is kind of the upcoming competitive, but I think Premier and Elite would be very, very, very close, right? You get those Shaheen teams; they're doing phenomenally well, right? We never hear about them as much just because they're not in Elite, right? But I guarantee you, half those players would do really well in Elite, and I feel like these two divisions would be probably the top division in Alberta, right? So I think it'd be a big competition for sure.